What's up, guys? Back here with a new video, and I want to talk about Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort and Tito Ortiz versus Anderson the Spider Silva in a boxing fight on Thriller, live September 11th. On pay-per-view on Thriller. It should be great fights coming up. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, throw those thumbs up, and let's go. Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort. Interesting fight. Evander stepping in off of Oscar De La Hoya, not going to be able to make it due to him having COVID. I wish him for a speedy recovery. Evander Holyfield, to be honest, haven't really fought in a decade or maybe even more. It's been a long time. He's not in his prime anymore. He's in his late 50s or mid 50s or whatnot. Vitor Belfort, kind of active. Only problem that I see of him juicing, even though they call him, and now he looks a lot different since they call him. I think just because of it being a boxing fight, I think Evander Holyfield, obviously, legend of boxing, has the advantage. It all depends on how he looks. I haven't seen any videos of Evander training or whatnot for the fight, or not much talk, of the fight. I think, Vitor has the advantage of just been competing more often than Evander has in the last, decade or whatnot. So it definitely plays into Vitor when it comes to the nerves and the adrenaline that, especially like Evander Holyfield's gonna have when he steps in on Saturday. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be special rules in effect, just something maybe similar to the Mike Tyson fight. Again, Evander's in his mid 50s, I believe. It's a great exhibition fight to have. People to see, the old guys still wanting to be there and wanting to do it. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. Again, I think Evander is going to win. It's a boxing fight. I think Evander will pull the upset victory over Vitor. Or not an upset. I mean, it's his domain. He's the boxer coming into this fight. You just got to watch over Vitor's power or just Vitor's craziness that he can have when he's throwing his hands. Again, for these MMA guys, it must feel at least pretty good. Like, normally guys freeze up when it comes to, throwing the hands sometimes if they don't want to get taken down or whatnot, or refrain from throwing too many kicks and punches or coming forward as you're striking just because you don't want to get taken down. And for the MMA guys, it's great because they don't have to worry about that, or leg kicks. So they can just come forward. They just got to watch out for counter shots or shots coming back at them when they're coming forward like that. So I think it's really good for the MMA guys. But again, it's Holyfield's game. So you never know. It's a fight. But I have Evander winning. When it comes to Tito Ortiz versus Anderson Silva, Anderson Silva, the former middleweight champion of the world in the UFC, the GOAT in the middleweight division, outside of, all the losses he had, towards the ending of his UFC career. Nobody can argue with Anderson Silva being the GOAT of the middleweights, for his time. And he recently fought in a boxing fight. Well, not recently. I believe it was like a year ago, I believe, or somewhat. He fought Chavez Jr. and went to a split decision on that, and he looked good. Anderson Silva obviously has good hands, good Muay Thai, so I expect him to be all right, and be okay, especially when it comes to a boxing fight. So a little bit of the old Anderson Silva taunting and all that and whatnot. But again, if I ain't got to worry about leg kicks, head kicks, elbows, knees, and whatnot, I'm coming forward and I'm going to be doing me. Ortiz, not really much known as a boxer, great wrestler, former light heavyweight champ, the bad boy, the Huntington Beach bad boy. Just, he was the Connor of his time and the Nate Diaz of his time. Obviously, Nick was kind of fighting in between that, but you get the point. You know, when it came to trash talking, outside the Diaz brothers and Connor, Tito Ortiz was the really first bad guy. You know, in the UFC. You know, he talked the talk and he walked the walk at his time. But again, a boxing fight for him, and it looks like he's cutting a lot of weight to make the weight that he has to be at. I think it's 195. So I think it plays a lot more to Anderson Silva coming up on top. Um, Ortiz is a wrestler. When I seen him fight in the UFC, his hands weren't that great. You know, I believe he, you know, then that third fight with Chuck Liddell should have never happened. You know, Liddell out of his prime years ago. You know, chin was suspect already. Like, you knocking out you knocked out a guy that haven't fought, and he didn't even look good to the lead up. I've seen video, and he looked it. It was horrible. You know, for Oscar De La Hoya to throw that fight, shame on you. You know, but again, you know, when it comes to Anderson Silva, I think Tito Ortiz is gonna have a problem with it. You know, Anderson Silva has great timing, good hands. Um, the only way I see him, Tito winning is if he got to knock out Anderson Silva, or just, you know, knock him down a few times, or just out throw and outland and win by a decision. You know, it's a tough fight for either or. It's a tough fight to choose who's gonna win. But if I had to choose, it would be Anderson Silva. You know, he looks good, and he already fought in a boxing fight, so those nerves are already like, all right, I can do pretty good. You know, it's more of a disadvantage for Tito. You can't grapple. You know, you can't wrestle, you can't jiu-jitsu, you can't slam, you can't ground and pound. So it plays more to Anderson Silva winning the fight, and I think he's going to. You guys let me know in the comment section who you think is going to win the fight. Hit the subscribe, throw those thumbs up, and let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.